The Nationality and Borders Bill that is entering its final stages in Parliament is cause of great concern to us. Among other things, it establishes a two-tier refugee status that risks leaving the overwhelming majority of refugees coming to the UK without proper set of rights according to the Convention. The vast majority would be, of course, individuals who would arrive after having traveled sometimes for weeks or months over land. And having crossed through various countries would be generally deemed by the government to fall into Group 2. Being in Group 2 would have far-reaching consequences for the individuals concerned. Group 2 refugees would be denied social benefits unless destitute. They would be denied family reunion. They would be kept in a situation of enforced precariousness. If this bill were to be implemented, you could easily imagine refugees being recognized and receiving no assistance. How would they survive? Finding a job, nobody finds a job that allows them to support themselves within a short period of time. You could, for example, have single mothers unable to access publicly funded creches and therefore being unable to work. You could think about children being denied school meals where those are dependent on the benefits that the parents receive. We are very concerned that the Nationality and Borders Bill will breach international law and will cause a huge amount of personal suffering in people who are guilty of no more than seeking asylum. Contrary to popular belief, the vast majority of people do not want to come to the UK or to Europe for that matter. The overwhelming majority of refugees remain in the countries neighboring their own. That's about 75%. And close to 90% remain within their own regions. So those who actually travel further afield, coming to Europe or to the UK, are actually a very small number. The Refugee Convention does not require refugees to seek asylum in the first safe country they encounter. And it does not allow states to discriminate between the refugees depending on the way of arrival. Under the refugee law, an asylum seeker is not illegal if it enters into a country and presents himself to the authorities. But of course, if you are breaking the law by simply arriving, that means that you have broken the law before you even meet the official. And theoretically, you could get 4 years for that. The vast majority has no choice but traveling through unsafe routes. Most people do not realize that it's virtually impossible to take a plane and come to the UK or indeed to many other countries in order to seek asylum. And we know that where family reunion is not allowed anymore, we will see more women and children taking the dangerous routes in order to reunite with their families. International law lives or dies by states' willingness to comply with it and to hold each other accountable for it. The Convention aims to provide protection to persons fleeing persecution and to allow them to integrate in new countries of asylum, essentially to rebuild their lives in safety somewhere else. The Refugee Convention was open to signature in 1951, and it is a fundamental instrument aiming to protect those people who are forced to flee by persecution. It remains a very relevant instrument today because, of course, persecution is unfortunately very much the experience of so many people in the world. We do have a problem, however, with certain kinds of arrangements that are meant really to essentially allow wealthier countries to offload their asylum seekers and their refugees on countries that usually have far more refugees and far fewer resources. These are often programs that aim at deterring refugees from going to the richer countries, and in our experience have often been shown to result in refugees being really shunted in very, very dire living conditions and very often in situations where their human rights were very severely threatened. A better way to address the asylum system, we believe, would be working on making the procedures faster and more effective with a view to ensuring that refugees are quickly identified and helped integrate, while those who have no protection-related reasons can be returned to their own countries. It's also necessary to have an agreement with France and the European Union to ensure that those who do not have legitimate reasons to seek asylum in the UK may be returned there.